is Patty Romero. Most of you know that. So I'm going to present my senior defense. I'm going to start off with my mission statement. And the way I structured my mission statement, since I don't have a BOEL, so I kind of had to do this by myself. So the way I did it was I put in my beliefs, my values, characteristics, and aspirations. And during the process of making it, I did it all in one sitting. And I just wrote it, and I would go back and edit it, and like till I felt like it fit me. So it turned out to be kind of long, but I feel like it defines who I am. I put it in the background, but I'm gonna summarize it because it's really long. So overall, I start with my belief as a student who has had difficulties. A big struggle of mine is self-doubt. I tend to doubt myself, and I think that stops me from actually showing my full potential. But throughout my years here, I think like what I've learned is that fear and mistakes happen, and they will happen. They you're gonna face that. And today is one of them. So like I was scared to come here, and I'm afraid to make mistakes because I feel like people will judge me for it. And I think this shows like being the first person, like I'm confronting one of my like biggest things, like self-doubt. So I also mentioned my values and who I am as a person. So one of my biggest values is family. I'm sure that's everyone's, but my reason for this is because family to me they shaped who I am. I have a really big family, and they've all contributed to who I am, and they just taught me my morals and my ethics. And I also put my characteristics. So I chose my characteristics based on what I believe this defines me, and also what I've worked with people here, like students and coworkers, and they've all said similar things. So I've done that, and I put that I'm detail-oriented, family-oriented, humorous, supportive, and eager to learn. I'm also open-minded, so that's why I chose that. They've all said like similar things, so I just kind of summed it up. So I put in my mission statement, I put like just one sentence of my aspirations. And my reason for this is because they're kind of unclear. I don't really know what I want to be, but I do know like I want to be someone who's independent, who doesn't rely on, I don't want to rely too heavily on my mom. I kind of want to do my own thing. And I feel like I've done that so far. I've got my own job. I got a job. I pay for my phone. I pay for my bus pass, and I pay for my own clothes. A lot of people don't know that, but I also pay for my rent. I'm starting to pay for rent, and I think like I follow along my mission statement as like I said, I want to be independent, and I think I've been doing that. So my next step for the future is, so I structured my next step into two plans, Plan A and Plan B. Plan A is going to a 4-year. I want to go to my dream school, which is Cal Poly Pomona, but I haven't heard back from them, which is okay. My safe school, as Ms. Rosillo taught us, is probably Vanguard. I've been accepted, and they offered me a scholarship, but there's something going on with the financial stuff, so I'm not sure. I've also been accepted to Northern Arizona, but that one's really far, and that's kind of scary to get out there and, and it's really expensive. My plan B is to go to, if like none of these work out, I want to go to OCC, Orange Coast College. My reason for this is, first of all, I just want you guys to know that I didn't want to go to a 2-year because a lot of students say like, oh, why are you gonna go to 2-year? Like a lot of people diss on it because they think that you just give up when you go to 2-year, and you don't find your way, like you get too comfortable. So I kind of didn't want to do that because I feared like I would get too comfortable. But I realized that it's not really how you start, it's how you finish. And I think if I have the determination to go to a 2-year and finish my studies, then transfer, and it will save me a lot of money. I'm pretty sure I can do that. My long-term goal is to become an immigration lawyer, and something I don't tell people, or I don't really mention it, is for the reason like why I want to become an immigration lawyer is because my mom doesn't have papers, and as a child I kind of feared like the immigration's taking her. So I would always tell her like, oh, I'm gonna fix your papers one day, and I feel like there's a passion for it, like immigration lawyers, because I've seen my mom try to fix her papers, but there's been times where there's fake lawyers or just situations that go around, and that's why I want to help people like in my mom's situation. I think that will drive me to do good in that field. But my short-term goal is like right after high school, I want to get my real estate license, and I want to do this because one, my uncle, he has his own business. He fixes mortgages and he does finance, and he'll help me get my real estate license. And I want to do this because I think it's something that I can do like quick, like just get money and so I can pay for all this, because I don't, like I said in my mission statement, I don't want to rely on my mom. She has too much going on, and that's why I want to get my real estate license, make money, pay for my school. Hopefully, I really hope that I can pursue a career in immigration law. So, I don't know, do you guys have questions about the next step in the mission statement?
I think, do you have any questions?
I get thirsty. Okay, so my first artifact is my internship experience. And my internship experience, it was in Irvine at a law firm called McDermott, Will & Emery. It's basically, this is a big firm. They have offices around the world, and they have one in LA and Irvine. So this Irvine office focuses on patents and litigation, and it's different from immigration law, but it falls into law. So that's why I chose this. I remember when I saw this in the list that Miss Nairi gave us, I was really determined. I was like, I'm gonna get that. There's like there's no what if. I was like, I'm gonna get it, and I was really confident with Miss Nairi. I told her like, Miss Nairi, this is mine. And so I prepared for the interview, and I read their website. I read all about them, and I went into the interview, and like I did really good. Like I did good. And so before like get into that, my agency element is build confidence. Although I said that I had confidence in my interview, when I actually showed up to the orientation, I remember sitting on it was a little conference room, and it had there was a big window, and it had a really nice view. Miss Nairi saw. It was the 18th floor out of 20, and I guess reality set in, and I kind of started to doubt myself. That doubt kind of came back to me, and I was just like, what are you doing here, Patty? Oh, you don't I can't do this. All that thoughts came into my mind, and I was I kind of got really low, and I thought I was gonna be working with these people who have gone to universities, and none of my family they've never gone to university. And these people, I don't know, I got really intimidated, and I just thought someone from Santa Ana going here, I was just wow. I was kind of proud, but I was really intimidated. And then after orientation, I went around to meet all the lawyers and secretaries, and I guess my confidence was so down because I had to shake their hands, and Miss B taught me this. Like, you know, when you shake someone's hands, you gotta firmly shake. And I wasn't doing that. I was shaking. My palms were sweaty, and I didn't want to touch them, so I was just like. And the human resource lady, she noticed that, and it was so embarrassing that she pulled me aside and she took me to a conference room, and she was like, "What's wrong with you? Like, this is not who you were. Like, what is this?" And I was just like, oh, I was so embarrassed. Like, you know, like you showed up confidence to the interview and you're here and you're like, confidence is gone. So like, that was really embarrassing. And after that incident, I told myself, like, you know, I reflected on like my academic success and like things I've done, and I try to build my confidence back. I try to realize what I'm capable of, and I think that really helped me in the internship. I did some things on, I had my own little cubicle, so that was cute. So I did some things on like Word, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm familiar with this. Excel, I was like, okay, you can do this, Patty. And I made myself be more detail oriented. So like I would ask a lot of questions, but I would do this so that I wouldn't make such a big mistake, and they would see like wow, this girl's really good. Like, you know, I wanted them to realize that I can do this. So my big takeaway from this moment, from this artifact, was that I shouldn't underestimate myself. So I realized that when in a situation where I'm with people who I believe are like superior than me, I tend to underestimate myself, and I become really intimidated. And I feel this artifact showed me that I shouldn't do that, because honestly, the people there, they really try to help me, and they showed me, like, they would answer all my questions, and that was my big takeaway. Questions?
I have a question just based on that. So you said you shouldn't underestimate yourself, and your plan is to go to 4-year. How is that going to affect you going into 4-year university?
I think what will affect me is, so there's a lot of, you know, kids, well, students out there that are probably like way smarter than me, and I feel in times where like we work in partners or something, I think I'll get like really nervous, like, you know, start to doubt myself again, like, oh, this guy thinks like I'm nothing, you know, and I don't think I should do that. I think I should realize, like, hey, I did an internship at, you know, this big law firm, and I've done many projects. Like, you don't got nothing on me, you know? Yeah. Nothing?
Any other questions?
I don't know. I don't really have a question. I just really appreciate the connectivity you've had between your agency element and the experience that you were describing. I think it was really well connected. Mm-hmm. And I think you're talking about this imposter syndrome really well. This idea that, you know, who am I? I'm not qualified. What do I think I'm doing here? Yeah. And it's a very relatable thing. And I think that you really learned a lot about showing up and taking those risks. Do you feel like that's going to make you more likely to take risks in the future?
I think so. I think just, well, you know how I said, like, my self-doubt stops me? Mm-hmm. I think if I put that aside and just ignore it, just, you know, kind of like go for it. Like, I don't want to say the word, you know, budget. You know, just go for it. Like, I think that just taking that risk, you don't know what you'll get out of it. And I think in my internship, I did say that, like, you know, let's do this. Like, and I did get like a good outcome out of it. Yeah. So I didn't say this, but I don't know if you guys know Chris Scheitauer. He's a committee or something. Yeah. I worked with him. He's really scary. He's a really big guy, and have you seen him? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's scary. And I went into his office, and he had a really big office, and he talks so fast, and he was telling me, you need to do this, blah, blah, blah. Here, take notes. And he just threw me a notebook, and I was like, whoa. And I was just like, I didn't get anything what he said, and I was just like, should I go back and ask? And I was like, no, you got this. And I took the risk of not asking him, but asking someone else, someone who knew around that. So I think he actually liked like the thing I did, which was like an Excel thing. So I'm just taking that risk.
Yeah, it's important not to be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
I actually do have a question. I applaud you for reflecting on that experience and learning from it. But I'd like to know a little bit, how did you transfer those skills that you learned during your internship, particularly the experience that you just talked about, to other contexts or to other class projects, assignments, events during your senior year?
So I think I use build confidence in, I have a job. I host or I do cashier. So in hosting, I work with people who are older than me, like 30, you know. I'm not saying that's old. I'm just saying like they're way older than me, so like they're different. And I would host, so basically I'd sit people in their table, and sometimes I would be afraid to like, I wouldn't to like sit someone somewhere because I know they'll get mad at me, and that just having the confidence like, hey, you know what, I'm host, you do wherever I sit, that's it, you know. And I felt like I couldn't take on that role because I was younger and they were older, so you know, you always taught like, hey, listen to your elders, and they would tell me, hey, sit people in my section, you know, so they can get more money. But I would be like, no, I gotta do, you know, what I think is best. So just having that confidence with even older people.
Thank you.